All right, welcome, guys. I'm Rob Tatro. I'm half of the hosts of this podcast known as The Running Journey. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to come in and listen to us chat about our journeys, our training, our passion for running, whatever it is we like to share with you guys on a weekly basis. If you haven't noticed, the episodes have been dropping somewhat regularly now on Thursdays. It's what we want to try to do on a go forward. That's what all the cool podcasts do. They pick a date and they drop. Charlie, that's me using a term that my kids use all the time. They drop the episode on a regular day. So that's Thursday is our drop day, which means usually Tuesday or Wednesday is our record day, which actually ends up being perfect. Remember back in the day when the Carillon News would drop on the Friday, or no, the deadline for the news was on the Friday, and then the newspaper would drop like on the Tuesday after, and you'd get news that was like 12 days old.
Yeah, I think it was Wednesday, and yeah, you'd get like 2 weeks old.
2 weeks old was the news.
But it was local, so it was good.
Oh, we read it because I wanted to see if they had my second assist on Gautier's goal. Anyways, this is my brother Charlie. He's half of the podcast. Charlie, good to have you here.
That must not have lasted long, you being on Gautier's line, till he would have complained about getting better line mates.
You know what happened with Gautier at this 40 plus tournament or whatever it's called, the Manitoba Cup, I believe it's called.
Yeah,
I got called up, and Riley, I got to share this story. You're probably a really good hockey player, right, Riley? Oh, by the way, we have a guest on today. I'll get to him later, but I got to tell this story. So I've been not shitty. I was an okay hockey player my whole life, but like shitty for like, I wasn't a AAA player. I think I could have been, but I didn't quite make it. So I was always like playing junior C and whatever, but I gave it my all, and I tried really, really hard. But then I got fat and I stopped playing. And then they called me up recently when I lost weight and I had cardio to this Manitoba Cup Div 1 team, Manitoba Cup. So these are like ex-NHL players and stuff on our team. And I was on the fourth line with Gautier, Charlie. And Gautier told me how much he loved playing with me. He's like, oh, I love playing with you. Top scorer in LeBroke Ray's senior history, probably. Or no, probably Guilds Bay would be the top scorer. But anyways, Riley Dudar, welcome to the show. Great to have you here today.
Thanks for having me, boys. I'm excited to talk about some running journey stuff with you guys.
Yeah, I give you a good 3-minute intro before I let you talk on the podcast. Welcome to the show. So Riley, we don't really know you that well, but I know enough about you. I noticed on your Strava profile, you have a photo there of the Treehorn Marathon. I think that's the only time we met. Is that right?
Yeah. Right before, actually, inside. And well, you guys call him Simo all the time. I know him as Maury. I've never heard anyone call him Simo, but I'll call him Simo for today.
You have to call him Simo. That's what I do. I make up nicknames.
He's Simo now. Yeah. So, I saw him. I mean, hard guy to miss, being so tall. So I saw him kind of hanging out, and we were chatting. And then, that's when I bumped into you. I don't think you were around though, Charlie. I don't know what you had going on at that time.
Taking a deuce, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Could have been. Yeah.
And then we kind of went our separate ways after that.
So how did that race go for you?
It was good. I ended up winning. I did the 10K. Felt pretty good. And it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing that. That was
what was your time? You did like a 41-minute 10K or something?
I think it was in and around there. I don't know. I wasn't maybe like 42 something in around there. I'm not sure. I wasn't really looking at or worried about the times. I kind of just run with the other people that are around me. That's kind of the way I do things, and hopefully it works out.
Yeah. But you knew you were ahead. Like you knew you were at the front of the pack, right? So it's kind of an actual race setting type of thing. Yeah,
it was. Actually, so I usually just like to go near the front and then just try and find people that are better than me, and then just try and keep up with them. And in that race, it kind of, the gap kind of started right off the bat, and we were going a little bit slower than I was willing to go. So I think that ended up being pretty good for me. The guy who was in the lead, I just stayed within 10 yards of him for pretty much the whole race until the end. And it was a good pace.
Put on the afterburners at the end, or what?
Yeah, he started chatting with me with maybe at the 7K mark, and then we became buddies for maybe.
Yeah, chatting.
We became
in a 10K.
Yeah. I am always breathing way too hard to ever even think about chatting at the end of a 10K. That's for sure.
Yeah, around 7K, or he kind of just looked over his shoulder, and then we just started chatting. And then, yeah, I was feeling great. And
did you tell him, sorry, man, I'm about to go here at some point, like at K8 or 9 or whenever you left?
You know what? That was going through my mind for probably 2 kilometers of running with this guy. I was like, are we going to do, like, am I going to be a nice guy and just walk or jog across the fence?
No, you don't do
exactly.
that.
And then that popped in my eye. I was like, you know what? I need a win here. Like, I'm just gonna turn it on. I was feeling good.
So I've done a lot of races in my life, and that's never happened to me. Never had a chance to win a race or even come close. So
oh, thank you. That's kind of what was going through my mind, was like, when am I ever gonna have this opportunity again? So may as well try and go for it.
Yeah, because they don't come that often. I think for us, Charlie, I think for anyone who's kind of in our the three of our, you have to have a small race, right? So that the best in the province aren't there, because any triathlon with any other good one. Well, mind you, now, Charlie, you could compete with most probably triathletes in the province. How many would be better than you straight up at regular distance triathlon right now? Not that many.
A lot, yeah, a few.
But I'm saying it's not like
terrible swimmer, terrible runner. So yeah,
but it's not like 30. It's like a handful.
Yeah, I mean the half distance, I think Les is way better than me, and then besides Les, I don't know. There wouldn't be a lot.
Yeah, there are
obviously not everyone races, but yeah.
No, for sure. Of the ones that we see at the race, because you go to pretty much every race, Charlie. Like you do the circuits.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's like 3 races a year.
No. But like the 5Ks, the 10Ks, the halves, you do the circuit.
Oh, that, yeah. I thought you meant triathlon. Yeah.
Yeah. Charlie's, can I say that you're nominated? Is that hush hush, or can I say that? I've already said it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who cares? Yeah.
No, take it.
What happened?
He's nominated for what is it? Master Age Runner of the Year or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like they must have had a glitch in the system or something, because there's some fast runners there, so I'm not.
Yeah, but maybe it's like a kind of a what you're doing for the community thing, and you're encouraging, and you're active on Strava, and you're telling you're at all the races, and you're putting up points.
Yeah.
You're like a third liner that's just been around forever, and eventually get invited to an all-star game.
A journeyman.
Yeah, that did happen to me. That did happen to me one year after 12 years. Yeah.
So speaking of hockey references, here, Riley, you we'll get into your running journey, but before that, for work, what do you do for work? I see a picture. You coach hockey, right? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I own a hockey company called Evolution Hockey in Winnipeg. We work with guys from the NHL all the way down to grassroots and everywhere in between. We have a couple different schools. It's pretty much all training. Over the last couple of years, got into more spring team type stuff. And then in the off season is where like really my busy time is, where all the pros, the junior guys, the college guys, they're back from wherever they're playing. And I'm on the ice with those guys. And so during the winter time, a lot of my time is with the Brandon Wheat Kings. I'm the director of player development there. So just that's why I'm in the office here today. We were just on the ice before this. So yeah, pretty much that's my job. It's sometimes hard to call it a job. Feels like I don't have one. I'm just playing hockey, helping guys get better, talking about training. That
sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Do you have specific goalie workouts?
Yeah. We have 2 full-time goalie coaches. And
Charlie, this is what you need.
You looking to get some action in or what?
No. I there's a lot of things that I know I'm supposed. So I started goaltending this year.
That's
first time, and there's a lot of things that I like. So there's this YouTube channel. I don't know if you like pro goalie. Anyways, it's a guy that used to coach NHL goalies. And you look at the drills that the guys are doing, and I can't physically do them. So like, it's like, I don't even have the physical ability to do what I'm supposed to be doing as a goalie. I mean, so I'm not terrible, but
time out, Charlie. Time out. You have I saw you Zwift.
I need
34 minutes.
Well, yeah, but I need to practice these things, is what I'm saying.
Like I don't have flexibility that you lack.
Coordination, I don't know.
Okay, but that's just minutes on the ice with a coach who tells you, puts his stick here, put your knee here, push out with this leg here, and here's how you do a butterfly.
Yeah, I can push from one side, the other side stuck at it, So it's kind of like when you learn how to like turn playing hockey, like Jared can't turn, your cousin Jared can't turn on one side.
Yeah, he's not an ambi-turner.
Yeah.
Derelict.
Like he could derelict. Yeah. So this wasn't supposed to be a Charlie booking a hockey coaching session.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
But
we can
Charlie,
talk about that. Yeah.
No, we need to get you like a couple hours with a coach, Charlie, for sure. For sure. You're going to be so much better. And if you care about getting better, you do. I know you care about getting better. You're like, he's so dead. I spared with Charlie's team there in like Division 13 or something at the Highlander. Yeah. And like Charlie's like all in every shot. And the last game I went to, the first game I went to, he got lit up, but like they had a good team and but the second game I went to, like Charlie, you made some saves, 18, 19 saves or something. And like we won in overtime, 4-3 or 3-2 or something. And 5-4. Anyways, you played a lot better. I'm saying with a little bit of coaching, you could be good. So maybe we get Riley to get
that's not my department.
No. But you hire Charlie, hire someone at Riley's school.
No, it's just I just found it interesting. It's a brand new skill, and like you think you've got coordination, but you don't. So yeah, it's interesting.
Might be the hardest position in all of sports. So that's very impressive that you're taking that on. I mean, I'm scared of the puck, so I've never go in net. So I don't know how you do it, but that's
well, the equipment's really. I mean, no one shoots hard in my division, so it's not a big deal. But yeah.
Anyway, so that's what you do for work. So you're on the ice today. You were working. So when I think of like a coach, are you like a strength coach, or are you actually showing them how to do like cross cuts and improve their skating, or is it more like personal training?
Yeah, no. When I first started my business, it was all training. So it was all in the gym, strength and conditioning, lifting weights, working out, running, all that kind of stuff. And then it transitioned to just on the ice. And nothing really to do with conditioning, more like individualized training. So like I bring my iPad on the ice. I got a bunch of NHL clips of, let's just say Mark Scheifele protecting the puck in the corner. And then I'll take some guys on the ice and then I'll show them the Mark Scheifele videos. And then I'll have little drills that we're doing that's working on protecting the puck in the corner. And then I'll film our guys doing it and then kind of compare and contrast, give them some tips on how to do that better. And then we go from there. It's a lot of watching guys' games during the year, and then making little notes, clipping videos so that when I see them in the off season, we work exactly on what it is that they need to do.
Is that one-on-one coaching on the ice, or is that like small group sessions?
Both. So I do. I'd say my strength is doing a lot of one-on-ones where of just picking the small little details out in guys' games and figuring out how to make them better at that. And then also with we do small groups and bigger groups as well. So kind of everything in that whole. And
then sorry. So you mentioned in the off season that you like kind of coach a bunch of these young guys and so there's those, sounds like you're doing on ice drills, but is there also like kind of like are people really focused on kind of strength and power, and does anyone care about endurance or any type of like kind of just having a bit more aerobic capacity, or just curious as a person who's like really cares about endurance now? I feel like it helps, but
absolutely. It's not something that's, is ever really focused on or talked about in hockey. And like, no one's coming to me to get an endurance workout. We're working on specific skills. Like some days we might not even break a sweat on the ice just because we're talking through situations and all of that kind of stuff. But getting back to the end, like now that I've been kind of running a little bit more competitively over the last little bit, it's like I'm thinking all the time, like, man, like if we can just get these guys aerobic capacity a little bit better, they're going to recover quicker, they're going to be able to last longer. But that just takes time and kind of the old thinking, and maybe it is still around now, I'm not sure, that if you train slow, you're going to be slow on the ice. And so it was kind of, while I was a player too, especially, it was like, don't do slow jogs because you're just training yourself to be slow. And I don't necessarily think that's the case. It's I feel myself, when I play, I feel pretty good having a way bigger aerobic capacity now that I've been focused on training for triathlon or running or whatever it may be. I feel a lot better myself. So I think guys need to do a little bit more, as well as VO2 training off the ice too.
Yeah.
So
At the high,
They all have they have limited time too, right? So it's not like they can spend hours and hours doing like easy runs. Like they have things that are more important to work on. So it's I'm imagining it's a bit of a balancing act like that, right? So yeah,
potentially, yeah. Like, and the other thing that I think about too is like no one really makes money off of someone going for a run, whereas like all of these trainers in the gym, they want everyone to come to the gym to use their equipment, their whatever, and that's important too. I'm not saying it's not important, but doing a zone 2 run for an hour and a half or something, that's not going to put them into the red. They're going to be able to build a bigger aerobic capacity. It might even help with some of their recovery, and it's not really going to tax their body too much for the next day. So I'd love to get more guys, and a lot of the pro, like especially at the pro level, like the guys that they're in the NHL right now, a lot of them are really gearing down on the weights and focused on more of longevity, mobility, moving lighter weights quicker, band exercises, more jumps, things like that. So I think that there's going to be more of a shift and a trend to it. And I mean, guys are like, sometimes like our pro guys are asking me like, oh, what's your time on 5K? And they're starting to get into it a little bit more, and like starting to think about maybe there's another way to train, or maybe there's more areas of my fitness other than just lifting weights. So I think
historically, the pro athlete mentality has been, I think, is just go and lift a ton of weights, right? That's what they've done over the last decade or two, probably, right? And now you're saying mobility, bands, all that stuff. I don't know if you see the Netflix specials, but like LeBron or whatever has got a show now, and like it's all mobility stuff. It's all like bands and ropes. And are you saying that you would? I think I know what you're saying, but are you saying you'd love to see, like, you think that Scheifele and the pro NHL players should be doing more zone 2 runs, hour and a half, and cut maybe an hour of film a day, or cut maybe an hour of weights a day? Or what, is that kind of what or just find some time and do it?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't want to come out and say like, you have to do this, but because everyone's in a different, like if Scheifele, for example, has his ankles bugging him, well, I'm not going to recommend he go on an hour and a half run. So everyone's going to have their little, their dings and their deficiencies in their body from playing a difficult physical sport all year. But I do think it would benefit a lot of guys. I know a lot of guys are gearing down on the weights, and they are looking for other things as well. So I think it'll come a little bit more in the future.
Yeah,
for those guys.
I think you're right. I think there's the trend. I don't know. I'm not talking to pro athletes, but I think the trend is definitely moving that way. Do you think that there's a chance? Like, do you think guys now are there guys now that could run sub 3 marathons? Kind of like, are there 1 out of like 20 or 50, or they don't exist?
I doubt it.
Yeah, because they can't.
I doubt it.
I got to tell this quick story, and Mike Keane story. In 1999, when I did, or 2000, I did my first marathon. I had to work that day at noon at Rogers AT&T. I was selling cell phones, and I was hurting real bad. And I was solo, and I was manning the kiosk, and I saw walking by.
You forgot one part of the story. You ran the marathon before.
Oh yeah, sorry. I ran the marathon that morning.
You ran the Manitoba Marathon, and Mike Keane did also.
And I didn't know that Mike Keane did, but I was at the kiosk, and then I see one of my all-time favorite hockey players in the history of mankind, numero 12, number 12, Montreal Canadiens, Mike Keane, all-time best defensive specialist. I loved him and Guy Carbonneau and Brian Skrudland, Kirk Muller. I love those guys because they were like me. They were defensive minded. They worked hard. They were leaders. Anyways, I saw him. I said, Mike Keane. I was like, wow, like, what are you doing in Winnipeg? He's like, oh, I'm in town. I did the marathon. I was like, wow, I did the marathon too. He's like, oh, what was your time? How'd you do? I was like, 3:58. I'm so proud of myself. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I did. I don't remember the exact number, and I'm sure it's findable. I think he said something like 3:15 or 3:12 or 3:18 or something. And I remember thinking, holy shit, this guy's in shape. I just did a 3:58, and I'm in shape, and I'm working out every day. I couldn't believe that guy. So maybe he was a runner. I don't know if you know that, him or not, but.
Well, I think just like hockey practice and just doing a lot of sports like develops that either way. Like, I mean, look at Zdeno Chara.
Maybe back then they weren't. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, so two things. I think like you said, like those easy jogs, they, like you said, it don't put you in a deficit. I think that's the thing that people like. It's like free, like that's kind of why all the good runners do a lot of easy runs, is because it's kind of like free. Like it's not free, but it's just, it doesn't tire you, right? So that you can still do a lot of other things, but it still builds you up a little bit. So I think that's kind of where there might be a benefit if a guy has time, and if he likes it, like he could do an extra hour every once in a while, and he would probably get that aerobic. Do you guys still do the lines in the NHL, or we used to do lines all the time?
In the NHL, not really, because they barely practice. There's so many games, like it's such a tough schedule.
Oh yeah.
Even in the
West, for the fourth liners.
Yeah. Well, those guys need to get their minutes. So, I mean, they probably do a little bit of skating after pregame skate or morning skate with one of the assistant coaches. But no, that's changed a little bit too. Now it's just more competitive drills, more like game-like drills instead of just your traditional like bag skate that it used to be called.
Yeah, like the 3-on-3s used to kill us.
Yeah,
we used to just do bag skates and scrimmage. That's pretty much all we did in LaBroquerie.
Yeah, we just scrimmage.
What about the mental health piece I want to touch on? Like, isn't there a pretty significant argument that these NHL players would benefit from an hour and a half of zone 2 just for mental health? Because they don't have probably much alone time with no phone and no, like, that'd probably be pretty valuable for them.
Oh, that might be the most valuable piece. In season would be tough to do, but off season, absolutely. Like whenever I go for runs, I'm going to say like 99% of the time, I don't have my phone. I don't have earphones on or anything like that. And the amount of problems that you solve in your mind, whether it's business problems or whether I'm, thinking about a player that I'm working with or anything, any kind of problems, or I feel like you just solve those on your longer runs when you can just think and you're out in nature and it's quiet, it's peaceful, and your heart's just humming along at a nice pace. It's I don't think there's many bad that can come from that. And then for them the pressure that they're under all season long, and whether it be from coaches, fans, media, family, teammates, whatever, to be able to just run and just be free and get that exercise in that zone 2 or zone 1. I think it would have tremendous benefit on mental health. It's helped for me big time. So I imagine
I'm a different person for sure.
Yeah, myself as well. I would agree.
Okay, let's talk a bit about. Sorry, unless Charlie, you want to ask more about hockey background?
No, I think that's good. I want to get into Riley's journey here.
Go ahead.
And so Riley just ran a 126 something at WFPS. So I think half marathon. And to me, it's really impressive. It's hard to tell how you got that well in shape, because like we see a couple of your Strava workouts and things like that, and it doesn't look like you're doing much. So I'm curious how did you go from how did you get there? Like, because that's a place that not a lot of I've never ran under 127, so that's a place that not a lot of people get to. So I'm curious on how you got there.
Well, thanks, appreciate that. It's a tough question because I think it's just like the whole life playing sports. I played every sport growing up.
And
then and then when I was about 19 or so, I was getting a little pudgy, and I had to get myself into a little bit better shape. I was always a skilled, creative hockey player, but I had to get myself in better shape if I wanted to continue to play at the next level. And so just really fell in love with fitness. And that would have been when I was around 19 or so, in and around there. I'm 39 now. So I guess for 20 or so years, I've been pretty into fitness. When I played at the University of Manitoba, you guys talk about them all the time, Colin Lafreniere. So we were teammates in New Brunswick, and then we were teammates at U of M as well. So just a shout out to another guy you guys mention on the pod all the time. At U of M, we always did the beep test as a test. And so I kind of prided myself on making sure that I was at the lead for all of those. And then post-hockey career, I shifted my love for fitness into being a strength and conditioning coach. So that's how I started my business there. And then over the next 5 years or so, kind of just got more onto the ice and less off the ice. And then, over the last couple of years, I guess post-pandemic is when I really started to read more into like longevity and health. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Dr. Peter Attia.
Yeah,
read
all those books. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, all I have to do to be healthy for a long time is just be in zone 2 for 3 hours a week. And then I'd get the heart rate monitor and I'd look at my heart rate, and like, I don't know about you guys or how you were, but like, it's incredibly difficult for me to have my heart rate in zone 2 while I'm running. Like my heart rate just skyrockets.
I think we should talk about that later, Riley, but I think what you're considering zone 2, I think you got to reevaluate what that is.
Yeah, I'll get tested.
Let's address it right now. Let's address it right now, Charlie. What do you think? What do you think, Charlie?
Well, I think so the other thing about Peter Attia I just wanted to mention is the grip strength, which is like grip strength and like VO2 max are like the two things that indicate how long you're gonna live. Anyways, so based on a 1:26 half marathon time, if you're running above 9 minutes per mile, like you're definitely not above zone 2, is what I would say. It doesn't like some people, like me personally, compared to my brother, I will have a higher heart rate. We're both in zone 2, but mine will be slightly higher than his, and yours is probably higher than mine. You're looking at your heart rate. I saw your race. You had like a 190. You must have finished in the high 190s for that race, right? So I think you just have a naturally maybe high heart rate for where you're at right now, and I think your zone 2 is probably a bit higher. And I know maybe I don't know what kind of device you're using to track it, so that could be off. But I feel like if you run a 1:26, anything above 9, you're definitely not higher than zone 2. Like, and I've seen kind of your runs that you consider zone 2, and I think it could go a little bit quicker.
Yeah, because like it's painfully slow sometimes, and like that whole WFPS race, I was in the 180s the whole time, basically from 4 minutes into the race to the end. I was in the 180s.
Yeah, so like your 185 is probably like my 160, you know. And then it'd be like Rob's 155, something like that.
And it just always gets there. And one of the trainers that I've worked with in the past, like he attributes a lot of it to hockey, where you're going so hard and then you rest. You're going so hard and then you rest. He said he's noticed it with a lot of the hockey guys that they run at high heart rates, but then again, there's a lot of guys that don't have that. So yeah, it's been a never-ending process of me trying to figure that out. But a couple of weeks ago, I was able for the first time to stay in like the 120s on a jog. I just wanted to see if I could do it. And I finally got it. So it was going pretty slow, but I was able to maintain that. So getting back to my journey, I guess, would be so just reading like Peter Attia's stuff and like all you have to do to be healthy. And I was sticking to his protocols for a little bit, and then I was like, man, it would be nice to like compete in some of this kind of stuff if this is what I have to do. And then, so I entered the Clear Lake Triathlon 2 summers ago. I did that. I did pretty well in it, I felt. And then was like, you know what, like I'm going to do this again. And then that's when
Charlie, you were there, right? 2 years ago, you were at that.
Yeah,
right?
Pretty sure I was there. Yeah, I struggled with the swim. I had a really rough swim.
Yeah,
but
me too.
But yeah,
it was.
Anyways.
Yeah, I need to learn. That's one of my goals now is I need to be a better. I could only breathe on one side. So when we were going out, the waves weren't a problem. But then when I was coming back and the waves were coming in on the side that I breathe on, I was sucking down a lot.
Oh, that's what it was? That's what my problem was. Maybe because I could only breathe on one side too. I thought the whole thing was pure hell.
Well, we're both like Derek Zoolander. Then we only got one way. So
yeah, you, Simo, and all three of you, Riley, Simo, and Charlie, you guys are you're not ambi breathers.
Yeah, so that was it. And then I kind of I'm competitive, very competitive, and so I kind of just got the itch. And then
that's
Simo,
the nice thing. It's kind of fun to be able to be a little bit competitive when you're older again, even if it's just
dude, like you were talking about that 10K race. I was excited. I wasn't even in this race. I'm excited for you telling a story about you winning this race. And this morning I was in a virtual race that means absolutely nothing on Zwift. And it's the highest, most intense I've been to win a stupid, meaningless virtual race. And I was like, why does winning this stupid race mean? And it's a chance to be competitive. So it's get the juices flowing. So man, I love that part about it.
Yeah.
Riley, you got to get it. You got to get into Zwift, Riley.
Well, I do. So I ordered that Zwift ride bike.
Okay.
So I got that about 6 weeks ago, but just like so many their customer service and the bike broke down. And so like, I'm still waiting for stuff. And it's like, I think it's all AI on their customer service. So it's, just huge pain in the ass, but as soon as I get my pedals coming in, I'll be on there. So
great. Someone else who can zoom right by me on the bike.
No, I don't think I'm that great. It's like I did the Clear Lake Duathlon last year too, and 3 guys passed me. And I don't know if it's because I'm not that good on the bike or they had like pro bikes or something like that. Cause these guys, I ended up finishing 5th overall, and the 3 guys on the bike they passed me like I was standing still. It was,
I know the feeling.
That's usually how I pass my brother. But
I know the feeling. And I spend time on the bike. So like, I don't understand how I'm that shitty at the bike, but anyways, that's a debate for another day.
That's one of my goals, but yeah.
Okay, so you're doing races, you're competing, you do well in your first one, except for the swim.
Yeah. So then, Simo told me about this hypothermic, and I kind of just winged that. And I was like, what's your goal? Like, what's a good time? And he said anything under 145. So I was like, sounds good. And I think I did like 143 or something like that. And
that was your first ever half marathon?
No, I did like maybe when I was in my early 20s. I did the Manitoba half. I wouldn't even remember what I got. Yeah. That was a long time ago. And I was at the Tom Petty concert the night before, so that was a fun time the next morning. But so did that hypothermic, and then I was like, man, that was like it got the juices flowing again. During that time, I was doing a little bit of jiu-jitsu and some boxing, and thinking about maybe I want to do some competing in this. And then I was like, I don't need to break my arm, or I don't need to get hit in the head. I've had enough concussions with hockey. And I was like, that kind of scratched my itch of getting the juices going. And then kind of staying in line with what my longevity and fitness goals are from Peter Attia's books and stuff like that. It was kind of just a perfect storm of activity for me to not only fulfill kind of my goals of being healthy for a very long time, but also get to compete. And then also travel too. I think that, I don't need to go somewhere and do nothing for 7 days on a vacation. I'd love to, like, I love how you guys are talking about doing the 777 and all that kind of stuff. Like, to me, I think that those are the types of trips and vacations I want to be going on and doing for the foreseeable future. So I think it's just so many different things all come together. And then the mental health side of things, and being around elite athletes a lot, and them training, and then me being able to talk to them about training, and then pick my brain, me talk to them about things. There's just so many things that are aligning for me in this kind of I guess activity. And then coming across your guys' podcast and just love what you guys are doing and just talking about training. I drive back and forth from Brandon a lot. So looking forward to whenever your guys' pod comes out. It always used to be looking forward to when Spittin' Chicklets is coming out, but now it's, run your guys' pod and some other training.
Are we
pods
ahead of Spitting Chicklets on your list?
right now? Yeah, you are.
Wow, Charlie, that is the best compliment we've ever had in our lives.
Made my life. Just made my life, Riley.
Oh, great.
Wow.
But I get so much hockey. It's just nice to think about something else. And
I get that. Yeah.
And there's not a lot of, I just love that it's so individual too. And, you can run on your own time. You can train on your own time. It's not like you have to wait for anything. And actually in the WFPS is Charlie, your voice popped into my mind from saying you have to start the races slow. Cause usually when that gun goes off or whenever, they used to start it, it's like my juices are going so much. Like I just want to get going, and I had to force myself to stay slow for, I think it's about 7 or 8K before I finally just said,
well, and it looks like it kind of worked, because especially a guy like you need to not go as fast as you can. Yeah. For me, it's like, it's exactly like that. It's like, it's really forcing, like it's going against what you want to do. You want to go faster at the beginning, but you need to have that discipline to go slower. But yeah, agreed.
It was hard. It was really hard, especially with, I don't know, like I just kind of picked targets in the race of like, that's
guys. So you'd see guys that you thought you could be running faster than, and then you'd have to like be patient with it, eh?
Oh, until it got to the point, I think it was like kilometer 8 or something, and some guy goes to the gym, same gym as me, and he doesn't know me, I don't know him, so he doesn't know this, but he's clearly a runner, and he passed, I think it was around like kilometer 8 or something like that, and I was just like, I was so rattled. I was just like, well, I'm gonna have to change my gym membership if this guy beats me. I don't want to have to run into him and like knowing that he's got me on that. So
yeah, that's enough of this. And then you put on the gas or what?
Yeah, and then I did. Yeah, and then I had 3 or 4 targets ahead of me that I ended up passing that I wanted.
It is nice to have those targets in front of you too. I think,
dude, I got to tell this story about Charlie. We were doing our slow miles last weekend, just training for this 100-miler, very slow miles. And so we'd walk and run, and people would pass us, obviously. And Charlie, I could just see him mumbling under his breath, "I'm way faster than that guy."
Oh, I know.
Like, I know, Charlie. I know you're faster than that guy.
I was kidding. I was like laughing at myself because I was like, it was hard to like contain myself, but
I think we should. And then I was like, we were like passing someone else. I'm like, I'm surprised you didn't just start running just to pass this guy. Just like, oh yeah, no, we're not walking, we're running. Just to convince yourself that no, but I guess it's the competitive juice. I do it every race. I look at people and I pick them off and I go, that guy is going to be half a mile from now. That guy's 2 miles from now. That guy, just go and attack.
Kind of getting back to your Mike Keane story. And like, I talk about this with Simo, like, I think mindset is just, it's such a separator in all sports, and maybe even in running, even specifically a little bit more. And just knowing Keener a little bit, like I guarantee you that he wasn't, or maybe he was training for the marathon. I don't know, but I know just his mindset alone probably got him a very, very good time, just from saying like, you know what, no matter what, I'm beating this guy, or no matter what, I'm getting this, and just going out and doing it.
Yeah, I was in shape back then. I was playing university volleyball. I was going to the gym every day. I trained a little bit for that race, and I ran I did a 1:43 first half and then fell apart in the second half, but I was just so blown away by how fast that was.
18. That's just because you were 18 at the time or something, right?
Yeah, I was a kid, but like I still like he beat me by like 45 minutes. That's like a minute and a half per mile. I was like, what the hell? Like, how is he doing that?
But when you were that age, did you even know about minutes per mile?
No, I didn't.
I think we just ran and didn't even know how fast.
I had no clue what I was doing. Zero clue what I was doing. Just keep going. Just keep going as long as you can. And you talk about the mental piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Keane, though, he was a beauty. Oh,
that guy was strong. That guy was. I don't know. I mean, I've met him a few times, but I can't vouch for how strong he is mentally. But I'm pretty sure I have an idea that he didn't like losing, and he didn't like being passed on recreational runs, I would imagine. And he probably, do you consider yourself strong mentally, Riley?
Yeah, I do. It's just, I did my degree in psychology, not that I'm a psychologist or anything. And then I did another program to certify me as a mental game coach. And it's something that I use every day with athletes and players. It's not something like we sit down and have an hour-long conversation, but just educating yourself on growth mindset, on overcoming fear of failure, building confidence, trusting your ability, all that kind of stuff. I think just little conversations here and there. And it's just something that, I try and build that mental resiliency in myself all the time, whether it's, cold showers, all that kind of stuff, like just doing hard things. I think you're giving small wins to yourself every single day, or you're just giving little wins, little victories, and those just add up over time. And then I think you just become more mentally resilient, and you just remind yourself of that, and you feel pretty good when it comes to race day, that you put in the work and you've done hard things. And when race day comes, hopefully you're feeling pretty good and you can just give it your all.
Riley, are you saying you take intentional cold showers just to
every morning?
Every morning?
Every morning, yeah.
I'm such a failure, Charlie. I don't do that. I'm such a failure. Why am I not doing that?
Remember the swimming pool in Marchand?
Yeah, it was in the low 60s.
We had to take cold showers to get in. Remember, it wasn't heated. Or
The pool
actually, you know what? It was heated, but it took like a minute to heat, and we were too impatient. We just wanted to get into the pool.
I remember the pool being freezing. Never mind
the
the
pool was
shower.
freezing too. Anyways, that's a side. So one of the things I did notice, Riley, is that doesn't surprise me that you kind of have this background in psychology or positive. I don't know what the word is there that you used, but because you made one of the comments that really kind of I noticed on one of the, you made a comment on kind of, I asked you how you think. I think I made a comment on one of your Strava runs, and I'm like, how well do you think you're going to do in the WFPS? And you said something like, and I said I think you're going to crush it, and then you said something, yeah, that's the plan, and I was like, I noticed it because I was like, that's kind of how I think too sometimes, and so it's like if you put in the work. Why not be confident a little bit, so that's kind of one of the things I noticed from you. I don't know if that makes sense or if that's kind of part of it, is that you put in the work to be confident, and then once there's nothing wrong with being a little bit confident when you have put in some of the work, right?
Yeah, and it's I remember that. I forget exactly what I said, but it's like I couldn't tell you what time I was going for or anything. Like I don't really focus on that. I think if you're too focused on the outcome, at times that can hold you back as well, because you're focused on that outcome, and that's what you're going to get. I guess a simple example that I use with the hockey guys is guys will say like, I want to make the NHL. And it's like, okay, well, you play one game in the NHL, you accomplished your goal, but was that actually your goal? Or do you want to have a long career in the NHL? And I think that if you're focused too much on the outcome or focused too much on the number, you might tie yourself to that on race day. And race day might be your best day of the year. And you might be holding yourself back if you're thinking like, oh, I want to just get 130 or 140 or whatever your time is. And so this is just my approach. I'm not saying I'm right by any means at all. It's I couldn't tell you like what my number goal was. I just wanted to do better than I did last time. And I think when you get to race day, I don't want to say there's no way to prepare for it, because like the energy of the people that are around you, your adrenaline, everything's all buzzing. And so when you get there, I think just putting yourself in the position where you can feel your best on that day and do your best on that day, let the chips fall where they may. And that's kind of just how I approached that race, or anyone that I'm going into where I want to do well in anyways.
Yeah. Like I would summarize that as being, you do everything you can up to race day. You do whatever training you can according to how much time you have and how much you're able to train, or if you're injured, you do whatever you can. And then on the race day, you try your best, and that's the result. Like if you've done those two things, then whatever result you get, I feel like that gives me a lot of calmness in races. Just thinking about those two things, it makes me feel really calm, and I think that really helps me kind of do well in races. I find is that I know I've done my best. I know I'm going to do my best today. But doing your best on that day can be, you're going to have, like when you're doing an Ironman or you're doing a marathon, you're going to have these rough patches. So you kind of have to tell yourself, okay, when these rough patches are going to come, you have to prepare yourself mentally to kind of be able to kind of roll with them. Mm-hmm. But then after you've done your best, like you cannot be anything but thrilled with yourself after, right? So I don't know, Rob, what do you think about kind of that type of psychology for before a race? Or
I sat down with a podcast recording yesterday with Victor from CBC. So they did this podcast on me, and a lot of it is focused around how I would just set these absurd goals. I guess he thought that my goals were a little absurd, I guess, because I started running, and then within 12 months, I decided I was going to run across Manitoba. He said, how did you know you were going to run across Manitoba? What had you ever done? And I said, I don't know, but I just felt that I'd done all the prep possible, and like I knew I just wasn't going to fail. And then you brought just now up the point that the training that you do is the only thing that could possibly give you the peace of mind knowing that you're going to be able to give it all that day, right? So I guess it was the heavy miles, and I guess I embraced that a ton, Charlie, to answer your question. That's all I live and breathe is, and then you have those days where you can't do it and you get this minor stupid depression, right? You have a shitty day in New York or whatever, where that was your best and you feel miserable because you wasted all this time. Right.
Yeah.
But it's still so awesome. So yeah, I agree with you, Charlie. It's the piece of work, the journey, every Lego block that you put in place so that you show up on race day, and all you have left to do. We've said this before on this podcast. All that's left to do is to give the max effort, right? We've taken away all the other variables, and that's the only one that we can control that day. I mean, I know there's other stuff, Charlie, but Riley, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm a very process oriented person. Like everything should have a process if you want to set that end goal. Something I talk about with the athletes that I work with all the time is the aggregation of marginal gains. So just get a little bit better every day. And that to me, I put a lot of emphasis on recovery, nutrition, rest, and making sure I'm in the gym, making sure I'm getting my enough time zone 2, making sure I'm doing my VO2 work. And if I do those things, those small little things are going to add up over time. And I think you're just going to see more success. I don't think I'm going to be winning like any kind of major race or anything like that. I'm not training to that extent, but for me to continue to kind of accomplish my goals of just trying to do the best that I can, I think that's the way that I look at it anyways. And I sounds like I see things similar to the way that you do, Charlie.
Talk about those incremental gains like that you've had, that you've seen in your, because it's been 2 years you're running?
A little less, yeah. Like focused on running, yeah, a little less than 2 years. But I mean,
but back up. Yeah. So, but you've been focused on fitness for 20 years. I think that's the part that puts you ahead right when you start, right? Even you haven't been strictly focused on like running, but you've been focused on fitness. Sorry.
No, I was just talk about those incremental gains. Your first half marathon since your 20s or whatever was a 1:43. How many races have you done? What have you done, and what do you want to do next, I guess?
Well, for the small gain, so like I did after the hypothermic, I didn't really do too. I was just like, okay, I'm going to train a little bit more.
That was this year's hypothermic?
Yeah, or last winter, or whatever, whenever it was. The last one
it was in February. Yeah.
Was it the one covered with ice?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You saw me with the dead animal on my head?
I did, actually. Yeah, I remember that. You were at the front of the line. I couldn't keep up with you. And then I did the Manitoba half, and then did like 134 or something like that. And then some of the incremental changes. So about 10 kilometers in, I was like, why am I not wearing the best shoes that you can get right now? And so I was just wearing, whatever you get at the Under Armour store or whatever. So I got the best
cheater
footwear
shoes.
I could get. Yeah. Or just, yeah.
Which shoes did you run the 126 in?
Saucony Endorphin Elites.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
I don't know, that the lady at I was just like, give me the best you got. And that's
well, that's the best you can find in Winnipeg without ordering from somewhere. Probably.
You can't find Nikes anywhere. It's the problem.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board on that. But then
they said those are good shoes.
No, they're really good. They're really good. I'm kidding. Yeah, they're awesome.
And then they set me up with like better training shoes for this like more cushion on the longer runs. I got like the On Cloud runners or something like that. So I made those changes as well as the nutrition. The first triathlon I did it fasted for some reason. I don't know what I was looking back. I don't know what I was thinking there, but I was
that's a Charlie move.
Yeah, doing some fasting at the time, and then
overrated. Eating is overrated.
Yeah. I still don't on the morning of any race since I don't really eat too much. I like having that empty stomach, and you hear people all the time talking about having to go to the bathroom or whatever, and I just never really.
Well, no, Riley, I think that works for half marathon and below.
Yeah. So
once you get longer, it might.
Yeah, but he would benefit from some carbs in his stomach before the race, for sure.
Well, I mean, half marathon he's not going to exhaust his. He does it so fast. He doesn't even exhaust his glycogen stores. Like,
well, actually, I'm interested in thoughts on that. Is so when I did the Manitoba half, I only had 2 gels, and then when I did the 10K Treeherne, I think I had 4 or 5, and then when I did the Winnipeg fire paramedic, I think I had 6 or 7. And why I was thinking that
you did that many. Wow.
It's a little much.
just because my heart rate is so high, like I'm in the 180s the whole time. I feel like I'm probably burning through so many carbs. And
your body's probably really, really good at burning carbs because of all the sports you've done when you were a kid, right?
Yeah, so I felt I don't know, maybe a little bit is mental too. Like when like Super Mario Brothers, you get the little mushroom and it's like boop, 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 power up. So I don't know. I just felt like my energy levels were pretty good the whole time. I never really ran out.
That's the most important package right there.
If you feel like it's helping you, then it's helping you.
Yeah, and it's like thinking back to the first triathlon that I did, and then the Manitoba half when I only had a couple gels. It was like I could feel a difference in my legs, almost like I don't know, my muscles were barking at me. Like that was I never felt that in the Winnipeg Fire. So I don't know.
I'm gonna have to try that 6 gels for a half.
Wow, I've done like 7 for a full. I think is the most I've done. I don't know about you. Have you ever done 8 for a full?
8 for a full is the most I've ever done. Yeah.
So what about when you talk about mental changes? Like, it's just like constantly just tinkering with things and just trying to figure those out. And
those are more like overhead changes. Some of those shoes, gels, nutrition.
Yeah. Well, and I got a bike now too. So
what's next for Riley? Like, do you want to do obviously you want to do a marathon, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't fully decided. I kind of like these shorter ones where because I still like lifting. I don't want to ever give that up in lieu of doing like crazy long runs. Like I don't think I've ever ran any longer than 24K in my life. I think that's the furthest I've ever ran. Eventually I think I'd like to get in there, but I know the last couple of years they've tried to do it and it's always got canceled, but a triathlon at the Forks, that's a skate, a bike, and a run. So
yeah, I've seen. I've been wanting to do that one too. Yeah,
I'd love to get into that. So that maybe the hypothermic again, and then I'm 40 in April, and I want to do a half Ironman and actually a high rocks competition. I want to do those sometime in the spring. So the trouble with me right now is like with the Wheat Kings and our playoffs, I don't really know when we're going to be done. Can kind of guess on some dates. So I have a couple half Ironmans flagged and a couple high rocks events flagged.
Wait, are you guessing that they're going deep or not deep in the playoffs?
I don't want to jinx it, but
you're going deep.
Probably deep. Yeah.
My wife just got back from High Rocks Chicago. She did High Rocks Toronto a few months back. She did High Rocks Chicago this weekend. She loved it. She said it was
awesome. What I hear. What did she find was the most challenging part for her?
I think it's like, there's like 100 meters of lunges or something, or like walking lunges, or I don't remember.
What is it? Always the same thing that you do?
I don't know. Is it? Oh, it's always the same. So there's like wall balls, there's row, there's lunges, there's farmer carry, there's the bag around the shoulders.
Yeah. So you run a kilometer and then you have one of those exercises. Then you run a kilometer, have one of those exercises. Run a kilometer, have one of those.
Basically like a CrossFit workout.
The winners on the pro side were under an hour. So they're running totals. So you do 7 or 8 kilometers in total?
8.
So the winning running times for the guys were like 26 minutes or something.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
so those are good.
But they get a break from the cardio. I don't know if they get a break.
They're not getting. I don't know. Well, their legs maybe get a break.
Would their time be faster if they did all 8, and then just an 8 kilometer run? You think, Riley? Probably not.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
I don't think so.
Because they get.
I would guess not. Because I think changing the activity gives you some you can recover parts of your body can recover.
So this is what, like, so I got into, you talked about travel running. Like, it's the coolest thing to do, travel races. I love it. I've talked about it on this podcast. Love it. We're going to St. George, Utah. Then we're going to, anyways, lots of stuff coming up. And I guess my wife kind of said, hey, I think I want to do that too. So now she's doing these high rocks. She signed up for another one in LA, I think, or something coming up. So yeah.
So Riley, are you going to do a high rocks and then a half Ironman?
So the high rocks I want to do is in Miami and it's at the end of April. So I'm hoping I can just like sneak away for a weekend and get that done. Actually doing it with a buddy. He played pro hockey overseas in Europe forever. He just retired this year. And I don't want to say he's feeling lost in his fitness, but it was like, man, let's do this together. So we're going to do it as a team. You can do it together.
Oh, that's fun.
And
do you guys count as a team or?
Yeah, you do everything together. So like, let's say it's the 100-meter sled push. Like I could push it for 20 meters and then stop, and he can push.
That's why you were doing those sled pushes that one day.
Yeah, I just wanted to see.
Or do you do them often?
No, I don't do it too often, but actually because they're more of a concentric exercise, so it's not too demanding on your body. So it's like something that I might do when I'm like, I don't want to take a rest day, but my legs are kind of tired, or my body's just kind of tired. I'll just go and push sleds for half an hour, like push the sled, let my heart rate get down to 100 beats, and then push the sled again, do that for 30, 40 minutes. And it's not too taxing on the body, but I find it's good for the heart rate and just gets the legs going a little bit. So yeah, doing that High Rocks is kind of flagged for the end of April. And then Da Nang, Vietnam, I think is the half Ironman that I'm.
Yikes. That's a ways to get there.
Yeah. I mean, but I want to travel too. It's go there for probably 2 weeks. So that's just what if they lose your bike, getting used to the food, all that kind of stuff is, I mean, I'd rather do it close to home, but May's kind of the time I have to do it. And just the options aren't that great.
You should seriously look into renting a bike there.
Well, if I didn't know that was an option, if I can, I'll just do that then.
Yeah. I did that for Triathlon Worlds. It was way easier.
Charlie, they rent them at all the Ironmans. I think you can just,
okay.
Instead of bring. But I mean, I don't know. Like the thing is, your bike,
your bike,
it needs to fit too, eh? I mean, I don't know. I would not want to. I'm in love with my bike, so it's a bit of a problem I have. But so I don't know how I could actually ride another bike than mine.
Charlie, how far away are you from buying like a $30,000 bike?
I won't. Mine's good.
Okay, sorry. Riley, you were going to ask Charlie something? Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, what kind of bikes do you guys have or use for these? Like, do you have a recommendation on?
I have a Cervelo P3. Charlie?
Yeah. Cervelo. No, you have a P2.
I have a P2.
We both have Cervelos. It's just, honestly, it was just the only one that they had. But what's more it's a time trial bike, right? So it's got the aero bars at the front, and it's a little bit more aerodynamic. It's got the seat in a certain way. So I think that's the critical part, is that it needs, well, I mean, I'm saying that, but if you want to do road biking too, then what you could do is just get a road bike and put
TT handles.
Put the handles at the front.
I have a road bike, but I don't know. I just feel like I need an upgrade. I don't know. I don't know too much about them. That's I need to do a little bit more research. But Simo always recommends the Cervelo too.
If you're just looking to do one race, and you could borrow mine if you'd like.
Oh, nice.
I'm not racing in April. I know that for a fact.
Well, I might just rent though. If I didn't know that was an option. That's a good option too. Anything you guys recommend for that kind of time? May, like what's I'm down for some kind of a challenge. So like, what do you guys have on the horizon there?
So April, we're both doing big marathons. He's doing Boston. I'm doing London. So that's going to be a heavy marathon build after 777. Then are you going into Charlie? I'll let you talk.
I'm kind of looking for a bike race, like a long bike race to do in May or June. I haven't found one yet. There is one in Alberta that I'm considering going to, but that's just biking. Because I want to practice my downhill biking.
I'm probably going to swim across the Northumberland Strait and then run around the island, kind of back to back. So I'm doing that in July, probably. That's kind of the only thing on my calendar. But Charlie, are you going to do an Ironman next year aside from the Worlds? Or are you just doing the Worlds?
No, I might. The other thing I thought about was doing another half Ironman in preparation of the Worlds.
Like not Hekla.
So speaking of ex-NHL players, Zdeno is going to be there, and can't let him beat me. So
I beat him both times I ran against him.
Well, yeah, and I was a couple minutes ahead of you on both of those.
Where is that one, Charlie? That's a half Ironman that you want to do?
I haven't decided. No, I have the Worlds in Nice in September next year, and Zdeno Chara qualified as well in the same age category. In the same age category as me. So I got to beat him, I guess. I don't know.
He's for sure older than you. Oh, but you're in the young.
No, we're same age category. We're in the same.
No, I know,
age
but he's got to be 2-3 years older than you. Big Z. I thought he was like 47, 48. Anyways, yes, same age.
He could be a little bit older than me.
Yeah.
But
so that's
47.
Kind of what I got on the calendar, and then would like to do the Clear Lake one again next year. That's I'm in Brandon a lot, and I got a good place to stay in Clear Lake, so that always helps. And it was a fun race.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you something. Take it or leave it. Do whatever you want with it. I think you should try a marathon just for fun. That's my advice, my personal opinion. It's an opinion. I feel strongly that the joy and this, you don't have to like commit to it for 16 weeks and do nothing else. You can do it kind of like you're doing now.
Well,
you just add one longer zone 2 jog on the weekend. That's all you need to do.
It doesn't even need, like, because you're so strong, like you've got 20 years of fitness. I think honestly, you could probably do it without additional training.
No, for sure he could do it. For sure he
just
could do
run
it.
a little slower. That's all you have to do.
For sure he can do it, Charlie. That's not what I was getting at. But
what I'm saying is he could do a good time because he's got 20 years of fitness. Like I think that helps him at the end of the marathon because he'll have strong muscles and all that.
You could probably do like a 3:35 like next weekend.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I bet you could. Yeah.
So that's the time I gotta get 3:35 because once you
no, you got to get a 3:15.
You should try to break.
We're saying right now you can get a 3:30 without training.
No, I think the number you want to break is 3:30 on your first one and put you in the like half of 1/millionth of a percent of people.
He ran a 1:26. He can do faster.
Double it, add 10 minutes. If you're training, double it, add 10 minutes. If you're not, that would be an accomplishment. I'm going to be
realistic, Riley. It should be 3:10.
3:10. That's
if you train 3:10. If you don't train, 3:20.
I like the sounds of that 3:30 that you said earlier. So for my first one, I'll start with that. Actually, now that you say that, I'm planning on going to Arizona in January to watch some clients play down there. And there's that rock and roll marathon during that same time. I don't know have you guys ever done those?
I've seen it. I've not done it. No.
Yeah, it's in.
They look like fun. For sure.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. Dude, you're going to have so much fun running this marathon. It might be a bit of pain, but knowing you're like us, you're going to love it. You're going to draw from it, and then it's going to inspire you to do something else or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so that might be the problem is once I do one, then then I'm in it.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. And I don't think it needs to affect your lifting is what I'm saying.
Keep doing the lifting. Keep doing what you're doing. Just maybe tack on a little bit. Like you don't have to, you could top out at 30K, 35K, 30K.
On a like a weekend training run?
Yeah, and you have to do that 3 times.
Yeah. And then
3 weeks, 4 weeks, and race day come, you'll be ready.
You just got to pace yourself on race day. Like you just got to go slower than what you're used to. That's all.
I think you'd love it. And I don't think it's like that much of a mountain you're probably making a bigger thing in your head. Like you probably hear us go, oh yeah, we're doing 16-week builds, but we're trying to break 3 hours and we're not in your shape. So for us, we have to do this to try to get there. So if you were to do a 16-week build, you could probably get down to, I don't know, 245 or something. Or 240.
Yeah, if you actually trained, you could easily do you could actually, you could do
you could post a score. You could post a number.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is if I did it, then my goal would be to qualify for one of those. What do you need like in
Boston?
40, so it'd be like under 305 or something like that.
305. You're my age category. 305, but you probably got to beat by a couple minutes. But I mean, the number of people that do that on their first run is pretty much zero. So like, if you would do that, holy shit, like that, we try to get our sister to do that because we think she can do it. We think our sister can do it on her first marathon. And I don't know anyone who's ever, I guess the all-time record holder when he did his first marathon in 2 hours and 3 minutes, he probably qualified.
Yeah,
for
I
Boston.
think Jacob Ingebrigtsen, when he does his first marathon, he'll be able to do it maybe.
Fair enough. But I'm saying there's like real people who like that there's few and far between. But you don't have to set that as a goal because that you have to commit some time to that.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to commit the time and you still want to enjoy the experience and you don't want to give up lifting, a great compromise is go do like a 3:30.
Of course, the running guys are going to tell the fitness guy that he's got to run a marathon.
Well, I don't think we'd be doing our job here if we weren't spreading the love of how unbelievable the feeling of running a marathon is. Like it's the favorite thing, my favorite thing on the planet to do. Like,
yeah.
So what is it about the full versus something else that really like does it for you?
I don't know, Charlie. What is it? That's a pretty good question. I think it's the build up, the journey of it, the experience on race. It's not like a half. There's no like plus you know that you're going to have that tough part around mile 18, 19, 20 that you got to get through the planning. Sorry, go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's like when you first think about doing a marathon, usually you're at a point where it's kind of just slightly beyond what you can imagine yourself doing, right? And then when you actually do it and you've kind of surpassed what you were like, that's why I always like not limit to myself to what I think I can actually do right now. I know that even though I can't imagine, like I couldn't imagine running a marathon at some point in my life. And then when I actually did it, it was just that amazing feeling. And it's kind of like that marathon is like where it starts happening, where it's really hard. Marathons are hard. And then when you actually do it, it feels really good. So that's my perspective. I don't know, Rob.
Yeah, no, you said it well, Charlie. I just think you should try it. That's all. And this is what I do. I push drugs on people. I'm like a drug pusher, and the drug is running. Like I'm a pusher. I go to high schools and I tell the kids it's cool. All the cool kids are doing it. You should run, man. All the cool kids are doing it. Riley, I think you should do a marathon.
Well, I think it's settled. I'm going to have to do one then. So
we'll do it with you.
Yeah, sweet. Sign me up. But it kind of brings me to my next question though. So like, what is it about this Utah race that you guys, the 100-miler, how are you guys feeling about that coming up?
I'm pretty freaking jacked about it. I don't know about you, Charlie. You're clearly jacked. You ran like 1,000 miles this weekend. Charlie, what did you do just for the viewers that because we haven't talked about our training lately? You did 60K on Saturday and 90K on Sunday or something?
No. I did
50 and 70. So
I did 75 miles this weekend.
75 miles this weekend. Yeah.
So yeah, but really like slow.
I know, but I'm just like clearly you care about this thing.
Yeah. So I think I care because I'm like, with these races for me, what's happened in the past, and I don't know, it's probably never happened to you, Riley, but for me, it's happened in the past where I have a lot of confidence in myself. And then I get into the race and it ends up being way harder than I ever thought, especially the first time doing a marathon, first time doing an Ironman. So this is my first time I'm going to do 100 miles. So I'm confident that I can do it. But at the same time, I'm like, is it going to be way harder than I thought? And I'm now assuming it's going to be way harder than I thought. So I'm like nervous, but at the same time excited. I don't know.
It's exciting because it's a distance that like very few people do. And there's a lot of, logistics around it. It's going to be a long, exciting kind of overnight thing. There's a lot of exciting things about it. And maybe we're saying this and people are going, these guys are crazy. That's not exciting at all. But for me, it's very exciting. I'm pushing the limit to what I think I can do. And for me, I'm pretty sure that this is where I'm going to be. This is what I'm going to be good at doing. I think I'm going to be better than most. I might not be better than most at running a marathon. I'm for sure not better than most at riding a bike and swimming. I'm probably not. But this, I think, pushing my body to do extreme long distances, I think is going to be what I'm good at doing. And I love it.
What do you think? What do you think is setting you apart?
I think it's probably my mental strength, I guess. I don't know.
That's a huge part of it, I think, on these long ones from the YouTube videos that I've watched anyways, is just watching no sleep, dealing with like all that adversity. That's the challenge that is really going to hold a lot of people back, I think.
I want to get this one under our belt, Charlie, experience it, feel how hard it's going to be. One of the other things that I've done is a little different than Charlie is I've always kind of picked cheater kind of races when I'm pushing myself so that they're a little easier on me. Right. So like easy marathon in Manitoba where it was nice, easy. Although my first Ironman was definitely not a cheater Ironman in Des Moines with 1,000,000 degrees. But so this 100-miler is a little easier because it limits us to the pace and it spreads it out over a whole day and it makes sure that we're taking our time and then hopefully we could set ourselves up and then like I could try a real 100-miler after where you just try to jog some or all of it if you can. I don't know, Charlie.
Yeah, I think this will be my one and done.
You said that with Ironman. So Riley, I'm the one who convinced Charlie to do an Ironman, right? I'm the one who's like, you got to do this, Charlie. You're going to love it. You're going to be good at it. Trust me. Finally, he signs up for one, and here he is going to the World Championship.
That was seeing your Strava on the bike and the runs, man. You crushed it. That was awesome. That was inspiring to watch.
Yes, that was inspiring.
Thank you.
I lost an entire day watching you on my phone.
Well, you know what? I was thinking of you, Riley, a little bit while I was doing it. I was like that comment you made. I was like, it's like anytime I had any doubt in myself, I would say, well, I put in the training. Like I can do this.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Kind of frame it as like, to me, there's no other option. Like this is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, Riley.
Have you guys ever seen that backyard that's in Blumenau?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We've talked about it.
We didn't see it, but we were aware of it. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
the traditional backyard format is 4.16 miles every hour. That's the traditional format. This race is a modified backyard, 6 miles in 90 minutes. It's a little less miles, right? Because it would be 4 miles in an hour at that pace. So you have 14 minutes and I think 30 seconds or something to do a mile, but it's every hour. So you get the breaks are less, potentially less opportunities to sleep. That is the traditional format. And honestly, Charlie, I'm thinking of doing that race this year, just taking it easy, just nice and easy. And
well, yeah, easy. Well, I mean, it's a bit harder than the one we're going to be doing it because it's a little bit faster pace. You wouldn't think that quarter mile makes a difference.
Oh, dude, it's a big difference. It's a sixth of a mile, but it's we felt it when we were jogging at 1440s versus 1430s versus. And the other thing that's going to happen, Riley, is I'm probably going to host an ultra backyard at some point.
Oh, yeah?
I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Back in
early stages of planning. That's what I want to do one.
After I went down the rabbit hole on some of those backyards and I started looking at land in eastern Manitoba, there's like a bunch of 160 acre plots of land for sale. And I was like, I wonder if someone would buy that and make a little course on there.
Maybe that's a rabbit hole for sure. Yeah. Well, my parents have a lot of land in the country, so I could probably just do it on their acreage. The rabbit hole is something that, like you go down this rabbit hole. Those backyards, like, the record is 112 hours, which is 4.5 days, almost 5 days.
Check out the World Championships this year. There was a World Championships of backyard. Did you see that, Rob?
Oh, this is a year ago I'm talking about. So I don't
know. No. So recently, like in the last month or so, three guys. So this was a team competition. Well, it wasn't a team. It was individual and team, but there were points for team. So 3 guys from Denmark all did 100 loops or something. So like 500 miles.
The team championships I endured. Yeah, this is something that the sport's new. Like we're going to look at this in, I don't know, 50 years and be like, can you believe the first winner only did 100 miles? I do think they're going to push the limit here, like significantly. Kind of like when you hear of the winning time of the first marathon. You know what the winning time of the first marathon was? At the Olympics in 1896.
And 3 hours 17 minutes.
No, Charlie. It wasn't Rob Tatro in New York slow.
255?
No, it was 230 something, 238 or something, but they only did 25 miles. So it was like a 246 or something.
That's pretty fast. The guy was running in mud. The guy was running in mud and had like leather shoes.
Okay, all right. I had the opposite approach, but I guess. Riley, we got to wrap up here. We do got to respect your time, but I think what we'll do kind of do what we did with Simo. We'll get Riley back on. I enjoyed this, Charlie. I don't know about you, but I don't know when, Riley, but we got to get you back on. So
yeah, anytime. Love talking training.
You could talk about your marathon training.
Yeah, now I have to do it. Not me.
Any last comments or words, Riley?
No, just really appreciate what you guys do. I think it's really cool what you guys have started, and seems like running is becoming a bigger thing in Winnipeg anyways. And yeah, just thanks for doing what you guys do here. It's I learned a lot, and just listening and trying to participate when I can and just talk with people about it. And yeah, I really appreciate it.
And we'll go for a zone 2 run one of these days.
Hopefully I can keep up.
160 heart rate.
Yeah, 160 heart rate.
That's what I got to do. That seems high for me. I got to try. I get there too quick.
I know. I see your numbers. I think there's something wrong with your monitor.
This is Charlie when he looks at your Strava after something's wrong with Riley. This makes no sense. He's not 160. What is wow? That guy is.
I know but I've used Polar heart rate strap. I've used a Fitbit. I've used a Garmin. I've used Apple Watch.
It's the same thing. So it really, yeah.
I believe that there's a wide. The distribution of regular heart rates is wider than we think.
Well, yeah, no, you can see if ever you've done Zwift races, they publish all the heart rate data. Some guys, they're at 190 the whole race. And then Greg Penner, he's at 120 the whole race.
Yeah, and he's an unbelievable endurance athlete who was on one of our episodes. Check out that episode if you haven't listened. He did the UTMB.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you, Riley, for taking the time today. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you committing to doing a marathon just for us. That's pretty cool of you.
Yeah, well, I just signed up. So
right on. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are a week and a half away from our 100-miler. Next week's episode will focus on strategy of the 100-mile race. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Rob. This is my brother Charlie. Today's special guest, Riley Dudar, our dud. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We will see you in the next video.